ジョーの野郎。鬼姫が完全にぶっ潰しやがって。
Oh my god. Hello everyone, welcome to Joe Consumes Cinema. I'm your host, Not So Secret Weapon, and today we have Ashita no Joe, episode 45. So last episode was really interesting. We had that fight between Rikiishi and that Filipino fighter. You could see that the weight cut, really took it out of him, but despite that, Rikiishi overcame and managed to defeat him. He also got the chance to practice the uppercut, which is a weapon he plans on developing to use against Joe. Dangpei talked about it, how it's a weapon that, because of the way Joe has to be in a certain, pose balance-wise to set up his right cross counter, he won't be able to use it if Rikiishi just, repeatedly spams uppercuts against him. But, given everything that happened in that fight, I have to say that Joe still overall has the advantage. Like, okay, he's going to have to learn how to deal with uppercuts. He can do that. He can figure that out. That's a weapon that he's encountered before in his fights, and there are ways to deal with that. I think, sway back is, an easier way to deal with it, or, just good lateral movement, it's just a punch like any of the others. He can deal with it. I think the bigger thing overall is the fact that Rikiishi is so, drained, and unless that changes, unless he brings in some type of expert that shows him how to properly cut weight, scientifically, this is still a time period when they really didn't know how to, cut weight the right way. He's just been starving himself for these prolonged periods of time, and then just chipping off the last little bit with these, steam and sauna baths where he's, shadow boxing, just letting it sweat out of him, and that's not the way you would actually do it if you wanted to do it efficiently. The best way is you diet down to, a certain point, a range with your weight, and then you cut the last 10 to 15 pounds, whatever it is, through an extreme, weight cut, sauna, that type of thing, but you employ, the help of a wetsuit, and then right after you do that, it's time to weigh in, and then you immediately rehydrate, hopefully with the IV if, your fight allows it. It's not legal in every case. But yeah, weight cutting is probably one of the most dangerous aspects of the sport, combined with just the nature of the sport itself. Like I said, when you dehydrate, it dehydrates the brain as well, and then taking damage, from punches, not a good combination at all. It's one of the reasons why boxing is so dangerous. But yeah, Joe and Nishi have seen Rikishi's plan, and there's ways to deal with that, so I'm pretty confident they will. And yeah, this is probably going to be an episode where we deal specifically with that, another training camp episode, and then either the fight or something else has to pop up to kind of delay it. Rikishi just had a fight, so I doubt we're going to get a 30-day time skip, and then all of a sudden it's, fight time again. But yeah, I'm really eager to get to it, but before I begin, as always, remember to blank, blank, and blank. Still very much a small channel, so every like, comment, share, subscribe that we can get really helps out, really appreciate it. Patreon link down below. I'm really trying to push the Patreon this year, so if you could sign up, even just as a free member, you'd be doing me a ton of good. With that, let's get right to it.
この試合を見た限り、力士は明らかに一歩お前をリードしていたようにわしには見えた。文字通り、力士のアッパー作戦はお前のノーガード戦法を封じる決め手なのだ。力士がストレートを打ってこない限り、お前のノーガードは負けたも同然よ。負けたも同然よ。
ふんふん。いやおっさん、俺のノーガード戦法だってどうしてまだ捨てたもんじゃないぜ。
He doesn't need it. He really needs to rely on something else. There you go. Sway back to defeat Rikiishi. Good lateral movement would work too.
俺はこれからノーガード戦法に磨きをかける。つまり俺が頼れるのは今まで通りノーガードただ一つだけってことよ。こういうことはね、実践で示さなくちゃ。
Took it right on the jaw. Jesus. Woke Nishi up.
なーにね、実験の都合上、わざとガードを甘くしたんだよ、ご老体。
何？
何かとご苦労さんだが、もう一度今度は1ダースほどのアッパーを突き上げてもらおうじゃないか。
A dozen? There you go. Mm-hmm.
おっとっ
さあ、今度こそ容赦しないぞ。
と。おいつ。どっこい。どうしたよ、おっさん。
確かに、こと検討にかけちゃ天才と紙一重だぜ、お前は。
さっきはバカで、今度は天才が。
西！グローブをつけてさっさとリングへ上がれ！
リングへ？
早くもへばって、西と交代かい。
いや、スパーリングをやってみるんだ。1対2でな。
2 on 1?
1対 2？
力士のアッパーカッター、わしのと力もスピードも連打の量も全てにおいて桁が違う。その差を補うために、わしと西の2人が4本の腕を振り回して、おめえに襲いかかろうってわけだ。
That's fucking crazy.
そう、遠慮は無用だぜ、西。
そやか手錠。
西、何をボソボソ言っとる。
おっとっとっと。あっから2人だからで勝ちすると、さすがに迫力が違うね、これ。
何をごたく並べてやる。それ西！
God. Yeah.
ジョー。
西、構わねえ、水をぶっかけてやれ。
ジョー。
今こそ全力を尽くして血まみれの大特訓に耐え抜くんだ。今のお前にはそれ以外勝つ道はない。
Threw water on him. He didn't wake up.
えたわりはしねえが、こんなことをやっていて、勝てるんだろうか。
This is counterproductive and also just insane. Oh my god, how many times has he got knocked out?
出て
しかし。
Yeah, this is really counterproductive. You're putting your fighter through, multiple concussions prior to a fight. It could easily lead to, like, brain damage. Like, this is insane.
続けてくれ。
わやもうあかん。これ以上その間ちんそまった情報つきにはなれまへん。
バカ野郎、俺が大丈夫だと言ってるんだから大丈夫なんだい。しっかりしろよ、西。もっとその意気だい。
それそれ、ついてついてつきまくるんだ西。
それいい。それでしょ。
それいい。ついてついてつきまくるんだ。
もう少しだ。だいぶ分かってきたぜ。もう少しだ。
This is nuts.
カモン、打ってこい。
西、情が入ってるんだ。さあ。
ああやってアッパーで攻めといていきなりストレート。
力士レオ戦を見てヒントを得た作戦なんだな。だね。
見えた。
Oh man.
もうやめだ。取材はやめだ。
見るに大変。
あれが果たしてボクシングの練習かね。
For real.
二人ともリングへ登るまで持つのかな。
たとえ登ったとしても、ひょっとすると二人とも負けることになるんじゃないかな。
Yeah, this is a really messed up situation. Rikishi with the extreme weight cut and then Joe's prep for this fight is just... This is not how you would prepare for a fight.
ジョーよ、もうやめた方がいいのかもしれねえぞ。
何を？思いのままにならねえからこそ、こうやって。飽きずに知恵度を吐いてるんじゃねえか。
There is such a thing as being too tough for your own good.
くだらねえごたくを並べる暇があったら、もう一度やり直しだ。もう一度今の調子でやってくれ。
I really hope they get this so they can stop doing this.
見えた、今だ。
I'm just glad it's over, man. That was so stupid.
でかしたジョー。
行け荒野をおいら奥さん
この俺を情け無用という月に吠えて一人
Okay, I took some time just to gather my thoughts. That was episode 45, and that has to be the dumbest sequence in the entire, show thus far. You never want to purposefully inflict, damage on your fighter just again and again and again like that. They're gonna, ruin his jaw permanently. He's gonna be punch drunk or, get brain damage. I understand the idea that there's urgency here where we have to go, a very difficult route with it in order to actually, have any kind of chance against Rikiishi. I don't actually agree with that, by the way. I understand, the reasoning behind it, but the path that they take to, deal with that problem where Joe is just taking so much damage, it's just so goddamn counterproductive. You would never, ever do that. That is the first time in this show where I'm like, what the hell are they doing? This is insane. It's not rooted in anything in the boxing world that you would actually do to prepare for a fight. It just isn't. If anybody did this back in the old school to prepare for a fight, they were just wrong in their approach, just flat out. It's stupid, it's counterproductive. Joe already takes so much damage in his fights. He's been knocked out multiple times, he's been knocked down multiple times. It's getting to the point where his chin is going to go, and then a stiff jab will, put him on his ass, if not knock him out. And then it could even go a step beyond that, and he gets, completely punch drunk. He can't take any punches without going out. And then you're, talking about, brain damage territory. It's insane. But yeah, the whole thing this episode was they're trying to come up with some way of dealing with the uppercuts from Rikiishi. Again, I talked about it before, but, sway back is one. There's also just lateral movement side to side. And also, just, Joe has fought without relying on this stupid, trump card that he has where, he purposely gets beat up to bait his opponent in order to, throw that straight, and then he comes back with the, cross counter. He doesn't have to fight that way, but for some reason he just has it in his head that this is what I have and this is all I can do. And we know from his fight with Wolf, no, that's not the case. You can box like a normal boxer and be successful. He fought those 2 rounds, almost perfectly. If he just focused on that style of fighting and, put more rounds in doing that over and over again, he'd get better at it. He'd level up. And then, why not just that approach with it to the fight rather than this, suicidal, way they're going with it? I just don't agree at all. But yeah, man, that was tough to watch overall. Joe probably suffered a dozen concussions throughout the course of this. I hope they're, done for good with it. Joe finally got the timing right, dodged it, and then once Dangpei threw that straight that he mixes in every once in a while, Joe got the timing for that too and managed to land the right cross counter. So his plan has worked, even though his plan is terrible in my opinion. But yeah, I'm hoping either next episode or the one after we actually get the fight with Rikiishi. But that's interesting because, again, I know from the comments that there's supposed to be this bomb that goes off at episode 50. And we just did 45. I think either 46 is maybe Rikishi's prep for the fight or the actual fight. And still, based on everything I've seen, I still give the advantage to Joe. But given the fact that Rikiishi is killing himself to, make the weight to get there, and Joe is just doing training like this, I mean, they talked about it where, are they even going to survive the training to get to the fight? And it's getting to the point where the quality of the fight might be so degraded that it just isn't a good fight, which I don't think is going to be the case because, why would they ever allow that? But at the same time, there's human limitation in everything that's happening here. And Joe's creeping up on, what a human being can actually do. And I don't think that reality is going to go away anytime soon. I mean, granted, it's just an anime, but still, it's somewhat rooted in realism. For the most part, everything that's happened in the show is stuff that can happen in a fight. It's just sometimes they go super overboard with it. This is not going in a place where Joe is going to be, challenging for a world title. He's going to have his fight with Rikiishi, and then maybe that's just the end of his career. Honestly, that seems like the most realistic path forward right now, just based on everything that's happening. And I think Rikiishi may be in the same boat too, where even if, either one of them gets the victory, it's like, okay, great, now your career's over because you took so much damage in the process. It's just, it's insane. And like, it's the first time in the show that anything's really, really bothered me about the show. And yeah, this is just nuts. But, I'm eager to get to the next one to find out. Very least, I'm getting to the bomb at episode 50 as soon as I can. I need to find out what happens. But yeah, for now, that's pretty much all I got. So as always, thanks for watching and peace.